And with regards to public speaking, one thing that categorically works for me, it isn't about you.
Yes. If you speak from here and you completely own your message, you lose that fear. Because when you know that by sharing your story, you're going to change someone's life, even if it's, slowly, people might watch you once, twice, 10 times. It might take a while for the penny to drop, but that's, if you remember, it's about the audience. Even if some people are criticising, you're thinking, who on earth do you think you are sharing your story? You're not bothered about those because you're bothered about the ones that it is going to have an impact on.
Welcome all, I'm Tracy Hill and this is The Proud Talk. Today I am joined by the wonderful Lisa King and Christina Valentine, TEDx speakers, mentors, authors, the list goes on. Welcome.
Welcome, thank you.
So good to be here.
I am so excited for this, I can't wait. So today we are talking about self-mastery and the art of public speaking, which puts the fear of bloody God into most. But what I wanted to do is just start with what I call a QQ and a QA. So quick question, quick answer. And it can be 2 to 3 words or a sentence. Okay. So what does self-mastery mean to you? I'll start with you, Lisa.
Self-mastery to me is understanding who you are, owning who you are, and being unapologetically you.
Oh, I like that.
That's what it means to me.
And yourself, Tina?
Same thing, owning who you are, because the one thing in life you have control over is you. And when you've mastered that, your outer world will reflect your inner world. So self-mastery is the most important thing you can master ever.
I love that. And after doing all you do on your courses in self-mastery, how do you now introduce yourselves? And it's something that I learnt when I was on your course, which is your gift statement. So we'll start with you this time, Tina.
Okay.
How would you introduce yourself to the people watching?
Yeah, I am a powerful, emotive speaker, author and mentor, sharing the journey of my life to ignite unshakable self-belief in others that anything is possible despite your story and because of your story.
I love that. Now to you, Lisa.
It's quite similar, but I'm a passionate, unconventional speaker, author and mentor who gifts others the ability to realise their gifts, which then unleashes their true and full potential with unlimited possibilities.
And as someone that's experienced actually spending a lot of time with you guys, you really do that.
Thank you.
I think it's important for the people that are watching to know that it's not always been that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if you head over, by the way, after this to the Once Lost Now Proud podcast, you'll hear both of their stories on there. But can you just give us just a bit of an overview about, I suppose, your past and some of the challenges that you faced, and then how you've got here today to where you are mentally?
Yeah, it has been a long, long journey over decades, which is why I say I share my journey of my life. It wasn't just one incident and then everything was fine and dandy. It literally has been many, many years. So I had quite a difficult upbringing, but I didn't realise at the time because home is where you learn about love, so it all felt quite normal at the time. Then I had my daughter and then discovered when she was 5 that she was sexually abused by my dad, so her grandfather. And that at the time was the catalyst and was absolutely horrific. That was just the beginning. So that's what I'm talking about, the journey of my life. Decades have gone on. My daughter's now 29, so it's the aftermath, the ripple effect, it's all of that. Yeah. So it's the strength and the determination, the tenacity, the doggedness, everything that I've taught myself through that journey. So that's why I say, despite the story, it's almost like the story's now incidental, but it's because of the story. And it's that will carry me through life forever. So, yeah, that's part of my journey.
And it is an extraordinary story, people. So please, please listen to that. And yourself, Lisa?
So my journey started from being a very young child who was around domestic violence. And it was kept secret, nobody knew about it. There was the I'm not good enough, I'm unworthy, I'm unlovable, and those beliefs literally snowballed for many years. And then at 12, I was raped by people that I knew, which then again added another layer of all those beliefs.
Yeah.
I started drinking, drugs, promiscuity, really not good. And I'm also then dealing with my sexuality, which then was also kept secret because of being concerned about other people's feelings. So there was me again, another secret that had to be kept.
Yeah.
And then I almost died when I was 17. Again, all these teenage things that happened then had a knock-on effect. But the catalyst to my change was my partner's suicide.
Okay.
And that came about because I chose to, at the time, I needed to take a step back from our relationship because I was lost. And I did that. And the day after, she took her life. So another layer, but then I went into full self-destruct, back to the coping mechanisms from when I was younger, this time with more money, more ability to do more, take more, whatever. And then I had a breakdown. So I had the choice, go back to the life I had or understand who I was, where all this come from. And that has been the reason. And that is why, because my story has defined who I am.
Yeah.
And because of that, I want to help people to understand that it's okay and you will get through it by understanding who you are. And that's why, we work with teens, we work with many people to help them share their story.
Like you've said there, though, I think what I've learnt from interviewing the people that I have over the last 12 months is that it's okay to be vulnerable, but what I've learnt is the versatility of humans.
Yeah.
Like, wow, you've been through that and you had a choice. And your choice was to do better, be better.
Yes.
And realise that is possible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think that takes me on really to the next part. And I'm going to bring out this little elephant. And I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but I'm bringing it here. Okay. So I attended one of your seminars. And it was so funny because there must have been 50 of these little elephants on a table, and we were all asked to go and pick one without any detail to why. So I think it must have taken people 2 to 4 or 5 minutes to pick their elephant because, like I say, all different colours, all different spots. And there's me thinking there's psychology behind this. Like, why have they asked me to pick an elephant? What if I pick the wrong colour? Oh, God, then am I just a failure? What the hell? But that wasn't the case at all. So there's Awesome Ant, which plays a character in your seminar. And then there's Epic Elephant.
That's it.
Which this is the epic elephant. And she comes anywhere with me. This is how I'm getting through this interview today. So can you tell us about the ant and the elephant?
Yeah, we love the ant and the elephant because we use these to symbolise your conscious mind and your unconscious mind. We all know that we have a conscious mind, and that is your ant. So imagine your ant is tiny and it's 5% of your thinking, it's your conscious mind. But then your unconscious mind is your elephant, which is 95% of your thoughts and thinking that happens so unconsciously, it just fires constantly and you're completely unaware of it most of the time.
Yeah.
But by having an actual elephant, it reminds you of your unconscious mind. So if your awesome ant, she thinks, today I'm going to get on stage, I'm going to do some public speaking, I'm going to be really good. The time comes to get on stage, and before you know it, you're out the building, you're back home, you think, how on earth did that happen? It's because your elephant is 95% of your thought process. That then creates a feeling, creates a behaviour. And if your elephant is going in the opposite direction, no matter how much your ant is going that way, if your elephant is going that way, guess who's going to win? It's your elephant. Because your elephant's thoughts fire 1,000 times faster. Your ant doesn't stand a chance. So then the next time it comes again, I'm going to get on stage. The ant has the same thoughts. I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to do it. But until you retrain your elephant, nothing's going to change. So that's why now we're like, come on, just humour me on this one. Just get on stage. Let's just have a go. So we actually talked to our elephant. It sounds really ridiculous.
No, but it's brilliant. I loved it.
And this is really similar to my one.
But people feel silly, first of all, but they're like, OK, I'll give it a go. Just be an open-minded sceptic, OK? You're probably right. It's going to be terrifying on stage, but just humour me. Be an open-minded sceptic.
And we have done this.
OK? So then you get on stage and it's actually OK. The world didn't fall apart. And your elephant thinks, hey, that's some new information. I'll hold on to that belief. And before you know it, the elephant is coming with you, epic ant, and you're both going in the same direction, and you achieve your goals and you reach your potential. It's like you're unlimited. Whatever you want to achieve, you will achieve it. But you have to educate your unconscious mind.
Okay.
So we all have one of these. We left ours at home, unfortunately.
We were like, right, we mustn't forget them. That's very similar to mine, colour and everything.
There you go. So I picked the right one.
We took ours quickly.
And so how do we train our unconscious mind, our epic elephant?
One step at a time.
Yeah.
I think my journey, for example, was the beliefs I had led me to, I didn't trust. It was I'm not good enough, I'm unworthy, I'm unlovable. If I tried to deal with all that at one go, the elephant would have just gone, no, it's too much.
Yeah.
so it's one step at a time. So whenever something came up and I looked inward and thought, right, what is it I want? What are my values? Who am I? And if something didn't feel right, if I was going somewhere it didn't feel right, if I was around certain people and I couldn't be me, I had to be somebody else to fit in with what they wanted. That wasn't what I wanted. So it was really being aware. I think awareness is huge. Being aware of what felt right, where I could be myself fully, completely, unapologetically. And if there are times I weren't, I would ask myself really empowering questions, as in, rather than saying, oh, why do I not feel it? Why? So it's more negative.
Yeah.
It'd be, okay, how can I make myself feel better in this situation? Or how can I change this to feel better, to have what I want? And it is, it isn't something that happens overnight. I mean, my elephant, bless it, had all his friends stampeded in one direction, and his little ants going, I'll go this way. They had no chance, because I had Nelly, I had Dumbo, everybody just going off. And the thing is, they were having kids and they were all following.
Yeah.
So it took time, but it's the best thing. I'm so at peace with who I am. And that's why we in particular, at the moment, we did a talk yesterday, with teenagers, and we said to them, it took us 30 years to sort our stuff out. Yeah. That's why we talk to teenagers. If you can understand this, you can create the future that you want, not everyone else's future, generational, beliefs and your parents' beliefs and their parents' beliefs, or your environment or the school. Everyone's different, and society tries to fit everyone in a box. That's how it is. We're saying step out of that. Yeah. Be yourself. And the right people will leave, and the right people will be attracted and will stay. And that's what we're all about.
And I want to go to one of your TEDx talks, because I think that's important to mention here as well, because you say that you wore lots of different masks throughout the 30 years. Can you tell us a bit about those masks and the personality of those, and how, again, you've come to...
Yeah, absolutely. So the three that I covered in the TEDx was the Joker, the People Pleaser, and the Lone Ranger. So they came about because little Lisa, who was witnessing a lot of different things, because between the ages of 0 to 7, we do not have critical thinking. We can't access that part of our brain. Yeah. So little Lisa, when Dad was beating Mum, and when Dad was disappearing for days and weeks on end, or wouldn't turn up when he said he was going to turn up, and many, many different things. Yeah. I wasn't accessing and couldn't access that part of my brain. So I'm thinking, well, what have I done? What is it that's wrong with me? Why is he not staying? So that's where it all happened and began. So the Joker for me was, if I'm always joking and laughing, I'm not going to get there. You're right. What's going on? Because for me, my mum was going through enough. She didn't need to deal with me and what was happening. So it was that sort of bravado of, oh, I'm fine, I'm great. But also at school, everything was secret. My grandparents never knew. My mum's siblings nobody knew what was going on. So it was like I had like a bit of a double life. It's but neither were the life I wanted. And I had unconditional love from my mum, let me be really clear. Yet, you know, and because of this, but the strength that I had to keep the secret was intense. You know, people talk about courage, and this is something, when people say, oh, you had the courage to speak up, you have a lot of courage to stay quiet as well. And people need to understand that. You're not always in a situation where you can speak. So it takes courage to do that. Because, you know, for me, it was protecting mum, protecting my little brother.
Yeah.
So that was the joker, the people pleaser. Wow.
Which, I mean, I've been that person.
I think we all have at times. Yeah, I think so.
More times than I care to think about now.
Yeah, and that comes from a bit of learnt behaviour from my mum, because she's a people pleaser. She's getting better now.
Yeah.
Getting better now.
Good.
But I would lend money, even at the detriment, you know, I nearly went bankrupt lending somebody money. I would give my time to people, even if I was exhausted. You know, my energy levels were really low. I'd put them first. Instead of thinking, I'm really tired, actually I need to just stay, I'd go. And then when I got there, it's like, why do you didn't even need me, but I was a fixer protector.
Okay.
This is the other mask that, you know, I was a fixer protector because I was protecting my mum, protecting my brother. Not me. I was protecting them and fixing things. The issue with that is, and I was doing the same with friends, and I think a lot of it comes from needing connection, feeling like I needed to earn that connection. And what happened with that is you actually disempower people to sort their own stuff out. You know, whereas when I understood that, you know, you don't understand. When I understood it and stepped back, you actually then enable them to find their own solutions. You're there to support them, because I have a massive heart. I will give, but never again at the detriment to me. It won't happen. And that was a people pleaser. That took a long time to get rid of, because that was like ingrained.
Yeah, of course.
Seriously ingrained.
For a long time as well.
Yeah.
From a
Decades.
child, really, isn't it?
Decades.
From the minute you're born, you
Mm-hmm.
want to please by sort of walking. You want to please by holding your knife and fork properly. You're constantly...
Exactly. And I was 39 when Becky died. So I didn't actually start my journey until I was 43.
Wow, okay.
So that's 7 years ago. I turned 50 this year. So the journey has been decades, but the real journey has been the last 7 years. And the Lone Ranger one came because of trust, abandonment issues when I was younger. I didn't want to let anyone in because my heart had been broken so many times. Yeah. That affected me personally in relationships where, you know, you can go and have loads of fun, you know, go and do what you do when you meet new people and start new relationships. But the minute they turned around and went, I really love you, and it got really intense, I'm like, whoa, that's not what love looks like to me. That's not, because that wasn't the love I grew up around. So to me, that wasn't love. So I'm like, whoa, too intense. Yeah. But it is love. It was love. But to me, because of my environment and what I've grown up around, that wasn't what love was. So I ran. I'm like, whoa. And so there was that. But business-wise, it affected me because I didn't trust anyone to come in and trust them with building the businesses. Yeah. So I did it all myself, which led to burnouts. And so those are the masks. And I did the talk at the school with the masks.
Did you?
But I related it to the teens.
Yeah.
And they got it.
And the thing is, it's so relatable, right? And I think a big part of what you do, and even with Proud Media, is I've only ever learnt anything if I can relate.
Yeah. Totally.
And I think sometimes it's really difficult, especially with teens, to get them to relate to you.
Absolutely.
But you guys have a special sauce, like you really do, and you'll experience this for yourself if you go to any of the courses. As I said, I attended the seminar, and I've trained my elephant well, I think. But I'll be honest, there's some days where my elephant, I could lasso that thing, and that it's just not bloody working for me. Okay, so what are the things that I can do to get my elephant back in check?
Yeah, for me, I definitely think it is, do not be completely open-minded, because then you're likely to just be naive and go into things and it's not going to work out. And all it's going to do is reinforce those old beliefs that don't work well for you. And I would say, do not be dogmatic, where you're not open to anything. You're so belligerent, like, no. So you have to be open-minded enough, but be highly sceptical. Ask questions. So, like, put yourself into new situations, but choose them wisely. If you think, okay, I'm gay, I'm coming out as a gay person. I've been out for donkey's years, but if I was coming out for the first time, don't go to a really straight bar and say, by the way, I'm gay. It could go horribly wrong. Go to a gay bar and test it out. So say, come on, let's be an open-minded skeptic. We're going to go to the gay bar and just try it. You're going to be so loved in there and so welcomed. And if people know you're coming out for the first time, you'll be so supported. Your unconscious will be like, your elephant will be like, that actually was really good. So you're having a new belief. So all those beliefs that were put into you as a young child, where you absorbed it, where being gay is wrong or whatever is wrong, that if you don't have an education, it's wrong, or this, that and the other. Get new information, upgrade your information constantly, but always ask questions. Look for new validation to upgrade your belief system. Constantly ask better questions. And it is, it's just taking one step at a time.
And one thing I'd say is take the pressure off yourself. Everybody has days where we're not feeling, we do. When you see us on stage, you know, we're motivational. And we're very real and raw and unconventional. We love that.
Yeah.
We ruffle feathers, and that's who we are, and we'll always do that.
I do love that about
and
you
we'll
too.
always do it. But there are days when we're not feeling it, and it's okay. Take the pressure off and say, right, okay, today I'm just going to be. Don't need to do. I'm just going to be, and we do that loads. We're like, yeah, this today is a day, and it doesn't mean it's a bad day. It's like when someone looks outside, it's miserable, it's wet. No, it's just wet. You're putting a meaning to it.
Yeah.
We're having a day of, let's just be. And so whatever you need to do, take the expectation off yourself and take the pressure off and have a day where you can just be, whatever that is.
I like that. Good advice. Thank you. Today my elephant is on track, by the way. So we're good. We're good. So when I attended your course, I was slightly apprehensive.
Yeah.
Because it was all about self-mastery, but it was a whole day, and part of that day was public speaking. Do you know what? For 20 years in London, corporate job, stand-up present. I've presented to huge audiences, some of the top companies in the world, and I've had like a nervous energy, but I haven't been as scared and frightened when it came to talking, I think, about myself, but also my career change and what I'm doing now. Why is that? Why is it? Because it's not just me. I know everyone else suffers, right?
Yeah.
So why do we have this fear of public speaking?
Because I believe that when we're talking about work, we're talking about our job, it's us up there doing it, but it's not. There's less vulnerability because it's more here than here. You know, when we're talking about ourselves, there's an added layer of vulnerability because it's you that's being judged, not the company, not the programs you're running for the company. This is about you. Yeah. So it adds that extra thing. You know, I've been speaking for years. I've been captain of all my teams. I would MC all our awards. I would get up and talk. No, you talk to me about football, bring it on. I know the offside ball, I've known it for years.
Well, but she was a pro footballer. We just put it out.
But coaching, you know, I coached, set up a mental health football team, took that to chartered standard. I could talk on TV. There were no issues.
Yeah.
But the moment I had to share my story about Becky and what happened, I was like this, quivering wreck.
Yeah.
Because writing something down or, you know, talking about it to yourself is different. The moment you verbalise it, it's out there. Yeah. For me, there were layers of shame, guilt, you know, all these different things. I think we all have that. We're like, what? Judgment? What are people going to say? Because it's about you. And that's why, to us, coupling the self-mastery with public speaking is crucial. Yeah. Because it doesn't matter how good a speaker somebody is. The moment you get them up there and you add emotion, it's like a whole different world.
It really is.
Whereas if you get them to understand the self-mastery first, so that if and when things come up, they know why. So you can go, okay, I know what that is, that's fine. I know what's going to happen. I know I'm going to feel like this, but it's okay. Yeah. And that's why we create the space where you feel it, but you're in a really safe space to speak. And you have coaches there that get it. That will talk you through. And that's for us is why we do smaller events and we do it where the self-mastery comes first. And then you understand when you speak that you're going to be okay. So
I think there was one thing you said, how do you feel now? And I think at that point I felt fear of God. but because that's what I was telling myself. And then you said, how about if you turn that into, I feel excited?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that had a massive impact on me because it was just simply changing my thought process to that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was really good, actually. I did the course, the event with you guys, just before I was recording the first 4 series for the Proud Talk.
Wow.
And honestly, it got me through because I was maybe super excited. I think they thought I was on something that day because I was like bouncing around like a nutter. But I could never have done that before. So I just want to thank you for giving me that excitement, feeling instead of fear. And that was purely from how I talk to myself.
When it came to, that came from, before I did my TEDx, it's something, once I started my journey, I knew I always wanted to do it because I knew at some point most people will watch a TED or a TEDx talk.
Yes.
So I was like, I can start getting my message out there. And as a speaker, it's a really great thing. And I was like, right, okay. And I'm very confident. I'm somebody, I have no attachment to what people think of me. I really honestly do not care. And I don't mean that arrogantly. I'm so comfortable with who I am. And when I speak from my heart. You know, it's, and I'm going to ruffle feathers and that's okay. I'm very Marmite and I love it. And Marmite. The gist of it is that when we feel fear and excitement, they're a very similar physical reaction in the body. So the difference and the power of that message is what you tell yourself. Because if the difference is, if you're standing to go on, ready to go on stage, and your aunt is saying, yeah, amazing, brilliant. But the elephant starts kicking in saying, whoa, what's everyone going to think? Yeah. If you tell yourself in that moment, the thought is, right, okay, I'm scared, I'm nervous. The feeling then becomes, whoa, I'm not comfortable with this. And the behaviour could be shaking, the throat goes, the stomach goes. Whereas if you're in a position where you think, actually, it's exactly the same scenario, the same physical feelings coming up, but you say, I'm really excited, I'm really excited. Yeah. The brain doesn't go, it goes to a different part of the brain. So it actually says, I'm excited, it's great, brilliant, okay. So the other thoughts don't come in, which don't create the feelings and then the behaviour. So,
and it works, it really does
it's
work.
really powerful.
Yeah.
And that wasn't ours, we heard that from other speakers.
Yeah.
So.
And do you get training before you go to become a TEDx speaker as you are? Or have you, I suppose, seeked mentors and others?
We've both had mentors, haven't we? And I'm smiling because let's just say sometimes you are taught things that actually take you backwards.
Okay.
Sometimes you are untaught what you really shouldn't have been untaught. You just needed to have what you had enhanced, shall we say. I personally, once I got the self-mastery bit done, I knew exactly how to speak. We all do. We speak every day. It's the little tweaks that you need as opposed to being untaught things. We all know how to speak. We all know what our story is. We all understand and have that in us. Yeah. But we have, I've met Tina through speaking.
Oh, yes.
That's how we met.
Quite a good story, actually, isn't it? So didn't you go to watch Lisa speak?
Yes, I joined the Public Speaking Academy that Lisa used to be a coach at, but she left coaching there as I joined. But, there's always promotions going on and we've had these amazing coaches. And I thought, who is she? And then she did a talk at a guy up north, a big event up there. And I thought, I want to do that. If she can do it, I'm sure I can do it. So I went to this event to see what the event was all about. And I was going to be a speaker up there. Then all this other stuff kicked in, no events or anything. So that never happened. But we've collaborated on various things. And in the end, we thought, why don't we just completely collaborate and become Valentine King? Amazing. And now we're the unstoppable force for good. Full stop. That's it.
That is it. Unstoppable force for good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And we were thinking, mic drop.
Yeah.
And we were like, that feels so right.
Yeah. Because between us, the two stories and the amount of stuff we've gone through, we know between us, there isn't much we haven't gone through.
There really isn't, actually. And when you listen to their stories, that is the truth. There really isn't much that these two have not been through.
Yeah, we haven't found anything
yet. And it does blow
We haven't found anything yet.
Like, your stories still blow my mind to this day. So for the people watching, just as we wrap up, any advice for them personally on how to start, I suppose, their self-mastery journey And if they're about to public speak today, any advice there as well?
I would say fundamentally it is master your mind to master your message. The technicalities, that's just such a small % of it. Where to stand, how to hold your hands, all of that, that's almost incidental. If you speak from here and you completely own your message, you lose that fear. Because when you know that by sharing your story, you're going to change someone's life, even if it's, slowly, people might watch you once, twice, 10 times. It might take a while for the penny to drop, but that's, if you remember, it's about the audience. Even if some people are criticising, you're thinking, who on earth do you think you are sharing your story? You're not bothered about those because you're bothered about the ones that it is going to have an impact on. So it literally is master your mind to master your message, and you'll speak from here and it'll just flow. And you lose all of that panic, the worry. It's just gone the minute you start. So it is start, isn't it?
And
Take that
that's
first step.
exactly it.
Yeah.
Take the first step.
Yeah.
And if it is something where you know that it's going to be really uncomfortable, it's okay, but take a step that you know that is manageable.
Yeah.
Because that first step is really important, because what you don't want is to take one step forward and 2 steps back because you either chose the wrong person or the wrong step. Have a real think about it. Become aware of what it is that you feel needs to, change, or what it is that you want to do. And with regards to public speaking, one thing that categorically works for me, it isn't about you.
Yes. I remember you saying that to me before.
Yeah, when I did the first talk at the school, there was 440 young people looking at me. And if I'd have gone into my head in that moment, they would have felt it. They would have seen it. I literally sat there, looked around and said, you need to hear what I've got to say. And it was the best thing, because I now get paid to go and speak at schools, because I know that, and this isn't me being anything else other than really honest, we make a difference because schools can't speak the way we can. They have constraints.
Of course.
The students can relate to us. Because we can be completely honest, real and raw, and they can talk to us. So,
Start your journey of self-development. That's the first thing. Before starting to learn the technicalities, definitely. Yeah.
Do the self-mastery first. Understand who you are and what it is you want to say.
What is your gift?
Yeah.
I love that.
And share it with the world.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
So much for today. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as I have. This is the Proud Talk. Master your little elephant. And if you would like to take the first step of self-mastery, Lisa and Tina have offered the promo code, which will be in the show notes, which will give you a 10% discount, I think, or something like that, for the first course or the first event. As always, share, subscribe, follow. Have a bloody brilliant day and love you lots.
Bye.